Boker Tov, good morning, everyone. Good to be here with you as we continue through our Elul reflections each morning, counting to the day of Rosh Hashanah up ahead. And this morning, like every morning, we start with Psalm 27, verse 4, Achat Sha'alti. Now, I've been doing a specific melody of this psalm each morning, but it feels fitting this morning to do a different melody because this coming Saturday, we are having Neshama Karlibach as part of our Slichot service, who's going to be leading with the cantor and I. Just such a beautiful service. I'm really looking forward to it. And she has a melody for Achat Sha'alti that she'll be singing then. And so while I can't do it justice the way that she does, I'd like to get this melody into our ears and into our souls as we prepare to welcome in the Yamim Noraim, these high holy days. Achat Sha'alti made Hashem Tavakesh, Tavakesh, Shifti B'Veit Hashem, Kol Yemei Chayai, Shifti B'Veit Hashem, Kol Yemei Chayai, Shifti B'Veit Hashem, Kol Yemei Chayai, Shifti B'Veit Hashem, Kol Yemei Chayai. One thing I ask of the Eternal, only that do I seek, to live in the house of God all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of the Eternal, and to frequent God's temple. Now this morning, Judith Mishkin shared with me some words of reflection that she has for this High Holy Day season. I don't have a video of her this morning, but it is such an honor and such a privilege to be able to share her words. And so she thought a lot about the question, how have you used art as a form of inspiration during the pandemic? And as you might know, she is a talented musician herself. So these are the words that she offered. For me, the High Holy Days meant family, friends, and music. And music is in all capitals. Having the shofar blown at the closing of service was awe-inspiring. And then the gates are closing. Hurry. It was and is impactful. Music has always been a part of my life. During the pandemic, I have focused on playing music by J.S. Bach, by studying how the notes are put together to make harmonies. Since I take 2 lessons a week for 2 different instruments, I can see how my 2 different teachers approach the music and the ways to practice each instrument overlap. It is a little like connecting the dots, comparing the complexity of Bach to the complexity of life during the pandemic. In some ways, it is simple. You hear the music of Bach and it can wash over you if you don't break down the separate parts that interact with the other parts. To protect yourself from COVID-19, you just stay home, simple. But it is hard just to stay at home and not interacting with people. A little background. About age 6, I saw my first harp and I begged my parents for one. Hanukkah came and went for a few years and I didn't get my wish. My presents were ballet shoes and sewing machine, neither of which I can use today. My mother's best friend was a harpist, and she said she would teach me, but I had to take piano lessons first. The piano teacher told my mother that she was wasting her money because I would never learn how to play. Oh well. Around the age of 8 or 9, my parents rented me a harp and began taking me to concerts. When I was confirmed at the temple, they brought the harp that I have today. I played the harp through college. I took an old harp to Uganda, worked at the Uganda Museum, and was the first harpist in Uganda. Well, I was the best harpist in Uganda, she said. Well, I was the only Western harpist in Uganda, for that matter. After my kids went to college, I started piano lessons. Then about 10 years ago, I started taking cello lessons. During the pandemic, I cannot go to concerts, but there are lectures, operas, and musicians to watch thanks to the computer and Zoom. There is more content than I can find time to watch. I thought I would watch the wonderful recorded operas by the Metropolitan Opera of New York, but I don't. I miss the connection of watching with people. When I take my music lessons by FaceTime with my teachers, I am interacting with them as well as with Bach. So how will the High Holy Day services be for me this year? I assume the music, the rabbi's prayers, and the cantor's songs will be familiar. But where are the people that always sit near me? How can we link arms and sway together? I will not be with my children or grandchildren. The traditional food, it won't be the same. Last year, my partner and I were in Florence, Italy, and we were invited to come to a small Reform congregation. The service was in a rented space, but the music and the prayers were the same, and the people participated. There were young children running around. Everyone brought food to break the fast. Children blew shofars. And now I feel older. And because of my age, I am more vulnerable to the virus. So when I watch the High Holy Day services on the computer, and I listen to the rabbi say who will live and who will die, I will remember this little essay. When I hear the gates are closing, I will be glad for Zoom, FaceTime, and my children, neighbors, and most of all, the dear man in my life. I am lucky as I write this, and I will continue to connect the dots. Thank you, Judy, so much for your words and for your reflections. Last year, it sounds like you had a different High Holy Day experience than you did in previous years. You weren't with your community, you were in a foreign country, and yet there you found inspiration, you found joy in the different ways and yet the similar ways that we celebrated the holidays. And it's my prayer for each and every one of us that yes, High Holy Day seasons it's undoubtedly different this year. Just the fact that we're working through our computers, that we're recording parts of services, that we have someone who's producing and working with us to make it the best possible experience on a screen shows just how very different it is. And yet the prayers remain the same. The words and the music, I hope, will pierce our souls and go straight to our hearts and inspire us. And yes, things are different, but just like you, Judy, found beauty in some of those differences, I pray that this year, by creating Mikdash Ma'at, by creating sacred sanctuaries in our home, by having some different ways to connect with one another, that all of us can find renewed meaning and beauty in all aspects of our High Holy Day season. There is one thing that remains the same all throughout our month of Elul, and that is Psalm 27 that we say each morning. So I read to you these words in hopes that yes, they're the same, but perhaps they speak to us just a little different today than they did yesterday. Of David, Adonai is my light and my victory, from whom shall I feel fright? Adonai is the stronghold of my life, from whom shall I feel terror? When evildoers approach me in battle, to feed on my flesh, my pursuers, my adversaries, they have stumbled, they have fallen down. If a camp encamps against me, my heart will not fear. If a war arises against me, in this I would trust. One thing I have sought from Adonai, how I long for it, that I might live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, that I might look upon the sweetness of Adonai and spend time in the palace. That you might hide me in your sukkah on a chaotic day, hide me in the hiding places of your tent, raise me high upon a rock. Now my head rises high above my enemies round about, and in your tent I'll offer offerings to the sound of truah. I shall sing and chant praises to Adonai. Hear, Adonai, my voice. I am crying out. Be gracious to me, answer me. My heart has said to you, seek my face. I am seeking your face, Adonai. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servants away in anger. You have been my help. Do not forsake me. Do not abandon me, God of my deliverance. For my father and my mother have abandoned me, yet Adonai gathers me up. Make your path apparent to me. Guide me in the upright road because of those up ahead who lie in wait for me. Do not hand me over to the lust of my adversaries, for false witnesses have risen against me, puffing violently. Had I not the faith that I would see the goodness of God in the land of life, wait for Adonai. Fill your waiting with hope in Adonai. Let your heart be strong and of good courage, and wait hopefully for Adonai. This morning we focus on a new line within our psalm. For my father and my mother have abandoned me, waiting with hope in Adonai, yet Adonai gathers me up. And I share with you the words from Rabbi Deborah Robin's book based on this verse 27, verse 10, called My Gatherer. Abandoned and gathered up. I know this cycle of loss and comfort. I have walked the path of pain and found peace. It is my inheritance, a legacy given by my parents. The name Ruth. Ruth, the Moabite, the widow, the one who abandons her parents. Ruth, the gatherer of sheaves, the one gathered by a family, a people, God. I hear her pleading voice, please let me glean. I see her in the field, a sun-faded shawl draped over her shoulders, back bent and heart lifted. One step, then another. She follows the woman gathering the scraps, following the men cutting the stalks of grain, gleaning leftovers from leftovers. She is following her people, her God, toward home. I hear her voice again, please let me gather. I see her still in the field, worn sandals strapped to her feet, always in motion, hands extended, the sheaves of barley gathered painstakingly one by one, each noticed, touched, examined, evaluated, and only then harvested, carefully cut, gently gathered together with other stalks. The gatherer of sheaves extends her strong, wide embrace, bundles them together. She holds them to her, breathes in their fragrance, knows their very essence, and carries them all. Ruth does what God did for her, what God does for me. She knows she will never be abandoned again. She is home. I utter a prayer. I am not alone. Blessed are you, Adonai, my gatherer. And may we all feel gathered into community this morning. I want to welcome all of you who are here today, Riva and Diane, Elliot and Bill, Sue and Steve, Donald and Debbie and Bonnie, and everyone else who is present. Thank you so much for being here. And I believe it's Elliot's birthday today. Happy birthday, Elliot. I hope it is filled with so many wonderful blessings and lots of love. And this morning, one other thing that we need to do each morning of Elul, just to awaken something within our souls, is hearing the sound of the shofar. So Cantor Elan is going to lead us in these blasts this morning.
Shvarim. Teruah. Tekiah.
Thank you, Cantor Elan, for those beautiful blasts of shofar. And finally this morning, We offer a prayer of healing for everyone in our community, everyone in our world who might be in need of healing of mind, healing of body, or healing of spirit. We're thinking about all those right now who are affected by wildfires. We're thinking about all those who are sick with COVID or with other illnesses. We're thinking about all those who are on our city streets, just struggling and hoping for a better tomorrow. We're thinking about every single one of us who is struggling amidst this pandemic, who needs the support of community, of friends, and of family. And so we offer this prayer. Debbie Friedman's Mishaberach. Mishaberach avotenu mekor habracha lehimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha lehavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. I hope that everyone has a wonderful day. Today at noon, we have Torah study right here or on Zoom that'll be studying this Torah portion for the week, Nitzavim Vayelach. And then tonight at 7 p.m., we are going to have our final High Holy Day boot camp talking about the prayer of Avinu Malkeinu. I hope you can make it for that. And in addition, Torah School is continuing our Hebrew portion of it this Thursday. So I look forward to seeing everyone there. I hope you have a phenomenal day, and I'll see you later.